Hello, and welcome to my lecture. I am Professor J.W. If you like today's lecture, I would appreciate it if you would hit that like button and don't forget to subscribe. I'd really appreciate it. Now, today's lecture is on artificial cosmogenesis. Imagine a room. It's not a large room. It's like a standard physics laboratory. There are whiteboards covered with equations. There are still machines humming in the background. There are coils of wire and screens flashing data. The center of the room is a device. It's not very big. It's about the size of a washing machine. On that device, there is a button. Now, imagine a scientist standing in front of that button. He is just a normal man. He has a mortgage. He worries about his cholesterol. He had coffee for breakfast. He is tired. He reaches out his hand and hovers his fingers over the button. If he presses it, nothing dramatic will happen in the room. There will be no explosion. The room will not collapse. The lights might flicker for a microsecond, but that is all. But inside the machine, something impossible will happen. He just created a universe. I don't mean a simulation. I don't mean a hologram. I mean a real, physical, expanding universe with its own space, its own time, its own matter, and eventually its own life. And by pressing that button, that tired man with a high cholesterol becomes the greatest criminal in the history of existence. He has just committed a crime so vast, so violent, and so cruel that we don't even have a word for it yet. Today, we're going to talk about the most dangerous idea in theoretical physics. We are not talking nuclear war. We are not talking about black holes swallowing the earth. We are talking about artificial cosmogenesis, the ability to create a universe in a lab. Science says it is possible. In fact, science says it is shockingly easy. If it is shockingly easy, then we must ask ourselves the terrifying question: did someone do it to us? Let's start with the recipe. In order to bake a cake, you would need flour, sugar, and eggs. If you want to build a universe, what do you need? You might think you would need a lot of stuff. After all, the universe is heavy. It contains hundreds of billions of galaxies. Each galaxy contains hundreds of billions of stars. It seems like you would need infinite energy to make something that big. But you would be wrong. According to the laws of inflation theory, the universe is the ultimate free lunch. Physics tell us that gravity has negative energy. Matter has positive energy. In our universe, these two things seem to balance things out perfectly. With all the negative energy of gravity and all the positive energy of matter, when you add that up, the total sum of the universe is 0. This means You don't need infinite energy to start a universe. You just need a seed. You would only need about 10 kilograms of matter. That is about the weight of a medium-sized dog, about the weight of carrying one load of groceries into the house in one trip. If you could take that 10 kilograms of matter and compress it to an insane density, squishing it down to a false vacuum, you can trigger a quantum tunneling event. It would not explode in the laboratory. That would be bad for the scientist. Instead, due to the weird geometry of time-space, this little ball of energy would detach from our reality. Think of it like blowing a bubble. You have a main soap bubble with a little baby bubble that forms on the side. Then it pinches off and floats away. That baby universe would instantly dissolve from our sight. It would slip into its own dimension. To us, it would look like a microscopic black hole that evaporates in a fraction of a second. But on the inside of that bubble, the Big Bang is happening. Space is expanding faster than the speed of light. Matter is cooling. Stars are forming. Galaxies are spiraling. And billions of years later, on a small, wet rock orbiting a small yellow star inside that bubble, a creature might look up at the sky and say, "Thank you, God, for creating this beautiful world." They would be praying to the guy in the lab coat, the guy that just wanted to see if the machine worked. This isn't science fiction. This is the math of general relativity and quantum mechanics combined. We don't have the technology to compress matter that tightly yet. We would need a particle accelerator the size of the solar system, but there is no law of physics that says it's impossible. It's just an engineering problem. So why did I call this a crime? Why is the man in the lab a criminal? Because of what happens after Big Bang. When you create a universe using inflation, you don't just create a single quiet timeline. Inflation is chaotic. It goes on forever. It creates a multiverse. This means inside your test tube universe, you are triggering the creation of an infinite world. Infinite variation. And this leads us to the argument of infinite suffering. If you create a universe that is capable of producing life, you are mathematically creating a universe of pain. Think about our history. Think about the wars. Think about the plague. Think about every child that has died from cancer. Think about every animal that has been eaten alive by a predator. Life is beautiful. Yes, life is also a meat grinder. Now, multiply that by infinity. The scientist that presses that button is responsible for every single tear shed in that torture chamber. He is generating the worst possible things that are going to happen. Somewhere in the new universe, there is a version of Earth where the Holocaust never ended. By pressing the button, he's just not watching it happen. He is making it happen. Is it moral to be a creator? If you knew that your creation would be the suffering of billions, would you still hit the button? Most people would say no. Most people would say that is evil. Look around you. Someone has hit that button. If all this is possible, then we were created in a lab where someone was curious enough to hit that button. We might just be a science experiment. Did the creator leave a note? They would need to put it somewhere like a big billboard. So no matter where they live in the galaxy, they would be able to see it. There's only one billboard big enough: the cosmic microwave background radiation, CMB. The CMB is the afterglow of the Big Bang. It is the oldest light in the universe. It is everywhere in every direction. If you turn on an old TV to a static channel, about 1% of that static is the CMB. You are literally watching the Big Bang. If you create a universe and that universe creates a universe and it keeps cycling downhill or upstream, does this mean we are up shit creek without a paddle? Does this mean we are in BFE? Bumfuck Egypt? Who knows? That is the question. And that about does it for my lecture for today. Hope you enjoyed it.